How did you prepare for the trip to Auschwitz, and why did you feel you needed to go?
To be a citizen means to understand your position and your role in historical line. Yeah, so you can respond, you can be responsible for your social and political environment. And foundation of your response have to be strong, yeah, because if you are not conscious, if you do not know your roots, you are half dead leaf that can be handled with winds in any direction. You can be manipulated in any way. My goal in this trip was to face with the past to which I have to respond, because like every generation, every new generation have to give new answers on the infinite questions, on the infinite tragedies like the Holocaust. And when I'm walking down the Krakow streets, especially the Kazimierz streets, Kazimierz was main Jewish center. When I'm walking down the streets, I understand that I have to be conscious not only of the living passerbys on the streets, but to be conscious of the dead ones too. That's why I traveled to Auschwitz.
What was your first thought when we arrived at Auschwitz?
We were traveling by train, and I remember how I was moved by the realization that I had the privilege of going there, sitting in a comfortable seat, having space around me, and having literally everything that I needed. And most importantly, knowing that I would certainly be safe there. Because 60 years ago, no one could ever have said the same thing without being considered completely foolish. Indeed. So I'm talking about the absolute gratitude that was planted in me since then.
What in Auschwitz affected you the most?
The crematorium. Because before that, I was successfully running away from the nightmare that was happening in Auschwitz, from cut hair, throwing away shoes. Because you can come up with some stories that would excuse these items. For example, like, okay, cut hair does not mean that this person was eventually killed. But with the crematorium and ash, it's finished. There is no hope that this person survived. Therefore, when you see hectares of trenches surrounded by barracks, and this crematorium that just literally faces you, there is no way to escape the reality of those years. Therefore, I think it works in a way that when you return home from such places, you look into a mirror and you see the face in the reflection which just screams to you, never again. Never again. And I wonder why humanity still does the same things, and I question it. Didn't we say that it was the biggest mistake we ever done? So why do we continue? Or maybe we call it a mistake only verbally. In this case, I don't want to live in a world like that, and I have a desire to change it. That's what Auschwitz was to me.
In your view, where does the path that ultimately leads to Auschwitz begin?
The world is dangerous not because some people do evil, but because some people see it and do nothing. That is a great quote of one of the most famous scientists of the 20th century, Albert Einstein, and a Jew. One more Jew and a Polish great journalist and writer Marian Turski said in his speech, Auschwitz did not fall from the sky. It crept, step by step and little by little. When I think about this topic, about Auschwitz, about Holocaust at all, and I ask myself a question, what is the reason? Where is the beginning of Holocaust and inhumanity in all our history at all? And I find only one answer: indifference. And then I found another speech on another survivor of a Holocaust, Prima Levi, who said, I create the 11th commandment. Do not be indifferent. Because if you will, before you will know, Auschwitz will fall from the sky. Indifference. Such a small thing, but so hard to see it in my life. It looks like a huge thing that lives in a huge decisions of huge people, but actually my rudeness to a person I meet in a shop is indifference. But actually my words like, I don't care in which university I want to study, is indifference. But actually my desire to be alone and not to care about my mom is indifference. And I look around, I look at myself and I ask, why do I have such a strange habit to be indifferent? Because what actually defines humanity as a species? It is an ability to be with one another. It is an ability to co-create and to live as a civil society. What defines us happens to be the most difficult thing. What is a reason of indifference? The answer is, I do not believe that my everyday choices, that my everyday life has an influence on the world. The answer is in a belief that I do not have any influence on the world. And it looks like it, because how my today's answer to my mother will shape a reality of the whole world. Ocean is not ocean without a million drops in it. Humanity is not humanity without a million people in it. Auschwitz did not fall from the sky. It started from a bench on which not allowed for Jews to sit down was written. Auschwitz will not fall from the sky. It will start from a small post on Facebook. Ukrainians, go away from Poland. And I do not talk about politics now. I talk about an Auschwitz, crept in, step by step. Actually, now, Auschwitz will start from a bench on which you are sitting now. Your next decision you will make after you will stop watching this video is something that influences me, that influences this world. So do not believe that you are just a small human in a huge world, not influencing on anything. No, you are a human, a part of humanity, and your life shapes Auschwitz or another future.
Why were people able to participate in such systems?
Ideologies of any types offer you great way to escape from your freedom. When you are a function in some other system, you don't have to be human. You don't have to be a thinking creature. And it's pretty comfortable way of living. That's why a lot of people were interested to believe into Hitler's words.